game. And Chris recreates thunder. Join the team live from Greenwich. The Great British Weather continues tonight at 7:30 on BBC One and BBC One HD.
Lap after lap, constantly twisting and turning.
Over and over again.
Thousands of miles.
Round after round.
As the build-up continues, a special edition of London Calling tonight with a selection of guests looking ahead to the Olympics for 2012. That's at 7:30 on BBC Radio 5 Live. So the countdown is on, and with just 1 year to go now exactly, BBC One brings you a special programme as we head live to Trafalgar Square to join Jake Humphrey and Sophie Rayworth.
It's July the 27th. In exactly 12 months today, the eyes of the world will be on London.
So let's celebrate the fact that for the first time in over 60 years, the Olympic Games is returning to British soil. And after tonight, there's just 1 year to go.
The Games of the 30th Olympiad are awarded to London.
Good evening and welcome to a very special event to celebrate a landmark occasion. We are live with a few friends of ours in Trafalgar Square in the heart of central London.
This is where thousands of people came back in 2005 to celebrate when London won its bid to host the Olympics.
So we thought it would be a good idea to return 6 years later, and tonight all eyes will be on that countdown clock in the middle of Trafalgar Square as it ticks past the very second that signifies there's just a year till the Olympic Games.
And there are millions of people around the world watching us live tonight from Sydney to Rio, Beijing to Athens.
And it's lovely to share the event with all of you, but also tonight is incredibly significant because this evening, on this very stage, the president of the International Olympic Committee, Jacques Rogge, will invite the athletes from around the world to come to this city to compete for an Olympic medal.
And we're going to see for the first time London's 2012 Olympic medals. The Princess Royal will be here to unveil them.
It's a big night indeed, but it's only right that we also share this evening with the Olympic Park, which, as you can see now, is about 5 miles in that direction. Now, remarkably, Sophie, it took them a full 2 weeks to fill the Olympic pool, but it's full. It's ready for action, and tonight will host its first race, but we're not expecting any Olympic records, I don't think.
No, I think it's going to be interesting, but doesn't it look fantastic? There it is, the Aquatic Centre, and let's go straight now to the diving pool, and there is only one man I can think of who should christen that. Mishal Hussain is there with him now.
If you know anything at all about British diving, you will guess what is coming next. Welcome to the Aquatic Centre, a state-of-the-art facility just completed. And with me here is one of Britain's big medal hopes for 2012, Tom Daley. And lots of support for you, Tom, not surprisingly, here tonight. You've had a look around the Aquatic Centre. What do you think of what you've seen?
Well, the pool just looks absolutely incredible, and to think of what it's going to be like here in a year's time, well, these guys are making a lot of noise, and to think what it's going to be like when it's packed out is just, yeah, they're going to probably need new ears by the time next year comes around.
Does it feel different preparing and training for an Olympics on home turf?
Yeah, well, every athlete's dream is to compete at Olympic Games, and to get the opportunity to compete in front of a home crowd in Olympic Games never comes around very often. So, yeah, it's going to be completely different to the last Olympics because you're going to have the home crowd support, and I'm sure that everyone here is going to get behind all of the athletes and all of the divers from Great Britain.
And you get to be the very first person to perform the first official dive into this Olympic diving pool. How does that feel?
Yeah, well, I'm quite nervous and excited at the same time because it's going to be the first dive, and yeah, I'm going to go out there, give it my best shot, and hopefully it'll be a good dive.
Which dive will we see?
I'm going to be doing an inward 1.5 somersaults pikes, which is one of the dives that I will be using next year in the Olympics in the synchro competition with my partner Pete Waterfield.
Okay, we're with you all the way. The platforms are ready. Good luck. Tom Daley. And to talk us through what Tom's going to do, over now to the former British Olympic diving silver medalist, Leon Taylor.
Okay, here goes Tom. What an honour this is. Look how shiny those bars are. Everyone's been out today polishing away. This pool is brand spanking new, and what an honour for Tom Daley to christen it in such a way. He's making his way up, as he always has done, all the way up to the 10-metre diving board, just leaving the 7.5-metre. And you can hear the crowd here in this aquatic centre. It's almost, look at this, it looks like a helicopter landing pad. The diving board is so wide as Tom Daley prepares to turn around and balance backwards on his tiptoes. And just look how amazing this pool is. Here's the count in the background. Here we go. Oh, and as you would expect from Tom Daley, only just back from Shanghai, christens the Olympic pool here with a superb dive. There's the Daley supporting their son as he swims to the side there. What an amazing occasion. Let's have another look at the dive. The first dive at the London 2012 Aquatic Centre. Inward 1.5 somersaults in pike. You can see the seats there. This pool is just something else. As Tom was saying, he's so exciting. So excited to dive here in just a year's time. Super slow motion as he goes into the water there without a splash. And what a fitting opening to the first dive at the Aquatic Centre.
Tom, congratulations. It looked fantastic to me. How does the diving pool feel?
It was great. It was a little bit cold actually getting in initially. But yeah, it's great to think that that's what it's going to be like next year. It's just incredible. The atmosphere then was great, the amount of cheers and stuff. So it's going to be awesome next year.
And you said that particular dive is one that we'll see more of next year.
Yeah, it's one that you'll see in the synchronised competition that I'll be hopefully qualify for next year. And yeah, so you'll have to look out for that one.
What is the next year going to be like for you?
Well, next year is going to be quite busy. I've got my A-levels. I've got obviously lots of training to do as well. So I've just got to keep training, keep focused on the job at hand, and hopefully the whole country will be supporting all of the GB athletes into it.
People are very intrigued by this because you are only 17. How do you manage to combine training at this level with your schoolwork?
It is quite difficult to combine schoolwork and training at the same time, but you just have to manage your time as well as you possibly can. Be strict with yourself and make sure that you're constantly training as hard as you can, working as hard as you can, and making sure that all the support systems around you, like your family, your friends, and all the people from British Diving, that they're supporting you constantly.
Tom, thank you so much for doing that first official dive. Good luck for next year and for the Games themselves. Tom Daley. So the diving pool has officially been christened. We'll have more from you for the Aquatic Centre later on, where we'll be putting the main swimming pool to the test with the help of some familiar faces.
Wonderful. Michelle, thank you very much indeed. You enjoyed that here in Trafalgar Square, didn't you? That was a special moment, and a special moment for Tom as well, and something tells me he might just be raising the rather famous roof of that place in 12 months' time. Right, now a very special moment has arrived. It's time to invite the athletes to come to London to compete in the Olympic Games in 12 months' time. So please welcome to the stage delegates from the International Olympic Committee, along with the Prime Minister, David Cameron.
the host nations past, present and future. Leading the way, Greece, the birthplace of the Olympic Games. And joining these representatives on stage, gymnasts from Bromley Valley Gymnastics Centre in London, the youngest just 7 years old. Brazil, they will host the 2018 Summer Olympics. China is here too. They staged the last Olympics in Beijing, of course, in 2008. And the Winter Olympics represented as well. South Korea, they'll host the 2018 Winter Olympics, and Russia as well, hosting the 2014 Winter Olympics. And following them onto the stage, we have the president of the International Olympic Committee, Jacques Rogge, who is here to invite the youth of the world to take part in the Olympic Games. And Lord Coe there, who has driven London's Games so passionately, almost from the very start. The Princess Royal and, of course, the Prime Minister, David Cameron.
It gives me huge pleasure to welcome everyone here in Trafalgar Square. This is a great night for London, a great night for Britain. It was 6 years ago in this square that we heard the news that Britain would have the opportunity to host the Olympic Games. And 6 years on, with just 1 year to go, the sense of excitement is even greater today than it was then. And I think this has the makings of a great British success story. With a year to go, it's on time, it's on budget, the great stadium is finished, the aquatic centre is finished, the velodrome is finished, and I believe this can be a great advertisement for our country. And we must remember what London 2012 is all about. It's about great sport, with great British athletes like Tom Daley and Chris Hoy taking part. It's about a great legacy, not just sport for a few weeks, but a sporting legacy for all our country for many, many years. And it's about Great Britain, letting the whole world see all that is great about our country, our history, our present, our future, the brilliance of our arts, the depth of our culture, the fantastic success of our business. So we must offer the greatest ever games in the world's greatest country. And with that, will you give a great, warm London welcome to the President of the International Olympic Committee, Jacques Rogge.
Good evening. On 6 July 2005, a dream was born when the International Olympic Committee awarded the 2012 Games to London. The world's finest athletes began dreaming of competing in this magnificent city in packed, state-of-the-art venues and in front of passionate crowds. As in 1908 and 1948, they knew they would be coming to the nation that invented modern sport and the concept of fair play. Today, their dreams come closer as we invite 202 national Olympic committees to the 2012 Games. The athletes will be ready, and so will London. For this, the International Olympic Committee thanks the very supportive public authorities, the great Locock team under the leadership of Lord Coe and Paul Dayton, and the British public for its enthusiasm. And now, according to tradition, I invite the athletes of the world to participate in the Games of the 30th Olympiad in London 1 year from today. Good luck, London!
And now, the President of the IOC,
will ask the representatives of the 6 National Olympic Committees represented here today to accept this invitation on behalf of their country's athletes. Accepting on behalf of the Hellenic Olympic Committee, Spiros Kapralos. On behalf of the Brazilian Olympic Committee, Carlos Nuzman. On behalf of the Chinese Olympic Committee, Liu Peng. On behalf of the Korean Olympic Committee, Yang Chun Park. On behalf of the Russian Olympic Committee, Ahmed Bilalov. On behalf of the British Olympic Association, Lord Colin Monia. And we wish all the athletes good luck when they prepare for London 2012 and look forward to seeing them here in 1 year's time.
And now as the feeling get ready to perform to this huge crowd here in Trafalgar Square, a glimpse of the people down below enjoying this wonderful moment as London counts down to the 2012 Olympics.
And importantly, we've now reached the stage where Jacques Rogge has invited the world's athletes to now come to London. You saw the celebrations. Now it's time to party. We're also joined this evening by our own Olympic heroes and Olympic hopefuls, including long jumper Chris Tomlinson, who competed in Beijing in 2008.
We can be heroes just for one day. We can be us.
Next up, Martin Bernard, Britain's #1 high jumper, and there are high hopes for him next year. Andy Tennant, the cyclist, track and road cyclist who won a silver and bronze in team pursuit in last year's World Championships.
We're also joined this evening by Andy Turner, Christian Malcolm, Goldie Sayers, Sam Oldham, Beth Tweddle, and of course Dame Kelly Holmes. It was an incredible 7 years ago that she won 2 gold medals at the Athens Games.
It was on the other side. We could be men forever and ever. Then we could be heroes just for one day. See me now, come on, my name. We could be heroes just for one day. Let me hear you. We could be heroes just for one day. We can be heroes. We can be heroes. Thank you.
A huge thank you to The Feeling and also to the DJ Kissy Sellout, and wonderful to see so many of our athletes here with us in Trafalgar Square tonight.
Welcome to the celebrations, guys. Now then, 12 months ago, we had this man cycling around the velodrome on the Olympic Park with Sir Chris Hoy. I'm glad to say nothing as strenuous this evening, but something equally important to reply on behalf of all of us. Please welcome the Mayor of London, Boris Johnson.
Mr. President, Your Royal Highness, ladies and gentlemen, we have a new monument in this city to the indomitability of London, a symbol of resilience to go with Nelson's column or the dome of St. Paul's rising above the smoke of the Blitz. My friends, I give you the Olympic clock. No sooner had this masterpiece of the Swiss chronometer's art been installed than it unexpectedly packed up. But with the help of various Swiss chronometers, we got it going again, didn't we? And then it was attacked by a horde of hooded crusties protesting at something or other. And still that clock ticks on to remind us that nothing and no one is going to stop us in our work of preparing London for the greatest event that has taken place in this city in the last 50 years. Mr. President Rog, the streets will be ready, won't they? The trains will be ready, the taxis will be ready, the theatres will be ready, the buses will be ready, complete with a new hop-on, hop-off feature. The hotels will be ready, the bicycles will be ready. The Olympic venues are already so ready that we might as well call a Snap Olympics tomorrow and catch the rest of the world napping. And above all, the people of London will be ready to welcome the world's finest athletes to the greatest games that have ever been held in the greatest city on earth. See you in London in 366 days' time. Thank you.
Well, Boris, thank you very much indeed. I think we can take it from that London will most definitely be ready. Well, that ends, if you can call it formal, the formal part of the evening, but it doesn't mean that we are finished. There's still plenty to come.
There certainly is. We are going to see very shortly, for the first time, those medals, the London 2012 Olympic medals that so many of these athletes here will be desperate to get their hands on next year.
That's a very big moment, but first, let's go back to the Olympic Park because it's time once again to make some history with Mishal Hussain. Mishal, over to you.
Thank you, and welcome back. Welcome back to the Aquatic Centre. We are going to celebrate 1 year to go with the very first competitive race ever to take place in the Olympic pool. And who better to take part than those who know exactly what it is like to compete for Britain at an Olympic level. So, to introduce our swimmers, over now to Britain's Sydney 2000 triple jump gold medalist, Jonathan Edwards.
Thanks, Michelle. This venue is going to see some amazing races in 2012 in a year's time, but I don't think it's going to see anything quite like what we're about to witness. Some of our greatest Olympians in a way that you have never seen them before. I've got the red starter's hooter to begin the race, so let me introduce who you're going to see. In lane 1, please welcome Roger Black. Lane 2, it's Steve Backley. In lane 3, it's Gail Ems. And my money is on Mark Foster in lane 4. He might be doing the best stroke. It's Duncan Goodhue. And it's Alison Kirbishley in the next lane. And in lane 7, it is Jamie Bolsh. And last but by no means least, it's the one and only Tessa Sanderson. Are you ready for this race? Athletes, on your marks.
And they're off now. Some of the dives there weren't quite as good as what we saw from Tom Daley, but as you would expect, look at Jamie Bolsh actually top of the screen there, keeping up with Mark Foster. Roger Black in lane 1. There's the underwater shot of Mark Foster showing us how it's done. But let's go back and see what's happening. Duncan Goodhue, of course, swimming breaststroke there. Mark Foster clear lead, but let's see, we've got a battle on for second. Roger Black, Steve Backley, Jamie Bolsh all in a line coming into the finish. Who's going to get it? Wow, I think we need a photo finish. Who knows who came in second there? As the rest of the swimmers come in, what an occasion. But there's no one in lane 8 at the moment. Where's Tessa Sanderson? She's only halfway down the pool. The crowd are loving it. There she is, Tessa Sanderson. The crowd are on their feet now. She's, well, almost there, almost there. The rest of the athletes are hauling themselves out, but Tessa's still stroking away. Famous for throwing the javelin, not for the breaststroke, but I think that's all going to change now as she comes in. Come on, Tessa, keep your eyes on the prize, get to the wall. She's almost there. Everyone standing ovation as she touches the wall. No world records today, but she made it. What a swim.
So, we've had the first competitive race in the pool. Let's have a big round of applause for all our Olympians, the very first people to swim in the 2012 Olympic pool. There you have it. Both the pools are in use. There's so much to look forward to next year. From the Aquatic Centre, that's it.
Congratulations. And I think Tessa putting in a great performance there. That's what we want in 2012, some valiant performances down at the Olympic Park.
Time now for our world exclusive, your first glimpse at London's 2012 Olympic medals.
The box will be opened and we will unveil the medals in just a moment. Of course, it's a medal that all the Olympic athletes would love to get their hands on, which gives them a chance to walk in the footsteps of those that have gone before them and create their very own Olympic memories.
Some truly magical moments. And here is the man who is the driving force behind London 2012, and he has 4 Olympic medals to his name, Lord Sebastian Coe.
Well, Sophie, in this box are the medals. They're the things that the athletes at this very moment are dreaming about and striving for. I'm very proud that they're a British medal. They're designed by a Londoner. They're made at the Royal Mint in Wales. And I'm delighted to be able to ask the Princess Royal to unveil them for us.
And suddenly it all seems very real, doesn't it? Those are the medals that will be fought for here in London in 2012. I know these athletes would love to get their hands on them. However, it's a year's wait and a lot of hard work before they get that opportunity. But I think the message from us here in London tonight is very clear. We will be ready, and it will be a Games to remember.
Just imagine, exactly this time next year, the Olympic Stadium will be packed. 80,000 people will be there for the opening ceremony, which will be about to begin. The London Olympic Games are nearly here. Good night.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
We're forecasting thunder, although maybe not where you are. The Great British Weather, next.
The Olympic dream is closer than you think. Get inside the lives of your local Olympic hopefuls and follow their journey to London 2012. All next week on BBC Local Radio, TV and online.
So the BBC have had me back. I asked them for a second series and they said yeah. To be honest, I just don't think they could understand what I was saying. I saw the most beautiful thing I think I've ever seen. I saw a goth on roller skates. It's just brilliant, isn't it? Because you look at the Goff face and you think that's misery, that's depression, but then you see the roller skates and think, happy feet. Happy.
He's back talking to the nation. John Bishop's Britain, Saturday at 9:10 on BBC One and BBC One HD.
On the case of a killer code, quite literally a code that is killing people after they read it. Sherlock tonight at 8:30 on BBC One. Right now, though, for the next hour, something quite unpredictable.
"27 million of us are going on holiday this summer. Staycation or vacation, we will tell you where to find the sun. Tonight on the Great British Weather.